Hello and welcome to Uke N Learn online lessons for beginners. This is lesson number 4 with me, Sara Spade, also known as the Ukulele Lady. This week's lesson is all about strumming and singing at the same time, which is something that beginners want to do all the time, but that quite a lot of people struggle with initially. And I've made you a worksheet, which I'm going to attach down here somewhere for you to print off at home. And what the sheet is for is really for you to be able to understand about what might go wrong when you try and sing and play together. So what I've tried to do is devise the simplest possible strumming exercise with a relatively simple singing or just talking exercise. You don't have to sing it. You could just say the words and say the syllables. But what can happen for beginners is that there might be a tendency to straighten the melody out. In other words, if there's syncopations in the melody, you would be singing those syllables, if you like, on an up strum. But there's this kind of innate desire to do everything on a down strum. The down strum would be the on beat, so that would be the 1, 2, 3, 4. The offbeat would be the bits in between, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And if you're singing on, if we're doing a simple down up strum like this, but you have to sing one of the syllables here on the offbeat, it might be that your desire is to sing it on the down strum instead, and then everything gets a bit mixed up. So this is really to start to practice in a very simple way, applying a kind of a map so that you can really slow down, look at where your syllables are, sing them in the right place, and then gradually start to increase the tempo. And that's a really good bit of advice for any practice you're doing. In fact, if there is one kind of pearl that I would want you to take away from all of these lessons that you've seen with me so far, it's this. So only play as fast as you can play correctly. In other words, if you've got big gaps in the music because you're having to stop and think about what's happening next, you're going too fast. Slow it down until you can do it correctly. And then with time, you can speed it up. And a really good way to do that is to have a metronome. Use your metronome every day that you play. And you can gradually notch up the tempo. And you could even write that down so you can see what progress you're making. Anyway, on to our exercises. Singing and strumming together looks like this. Now what I've done is I've put a down arrow for a down strum and then an up arrow for an up strum. And we're just going to be strumming 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And you can do this with muted strings. So it will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I would always tend to put the accent on beats 2 and 4, so slightly firmer there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's kind of like the backbeat. So that's the strum that you're going to be doing. Underneath it, I've put the syllables that get started at that point. So on beat 1, you start the syllable some. And then on 3 times, and then and 4 and in our lives. Now this is from Lean on Me, which we've been doing already in this series of beginners workshops. So you have some times in our lives. So the first stage would be just to say it in the right place. So if singing it on 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. And I was just whispering these empty boxes here, if you like. So it's some times in our lives. And if I keep the quaver rhythm here by tapping 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you look at these words, hopefully on a 1 you'll be able to sing that pattern. 1, 2, ready, go. Some times in our lives. So that's the first line. Now if you're doing your strum with it, you're down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, then that becomes some times in our lives. And did you see how lives was on an up strum? And then of course the next thing that happens is a beat 1 in your strumming. And you might feel a tendency to do this. Some times in our lives. That means that you extended the hour and you did the lives on beat 1. because it's a down strum and it feels somehow more natural. So what I want you to do, basically, it's a short lesson today, is I want you to download the sheet, and stage number 1 would be to strum all 8 bars. There's 8 bars here. If I come back, you'll see there's 8 bars. First would be to strum them all. Make sure that you can do down, up, down, up. Just use muted strings, no chords. And make sure you can get a nice steady 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for 8 bars without any stopping, without any big gaps for thinking or anything like that. So that's stage 1. The next stage would be you need to have this click going on. So you might want to use a metronome for that. And then see if you can speak or sing the syllables in the right spot. Now, if you can't do it, slow down the quavers. Sometimes in our lives. And so on. You'll notice when you get to the second line, we all happens on beat 3. So you're actually going to strum up and not sing anything. So it'll go like this. We all have pain. We all click have pain. There's a click in between the we all and the have. And it's an up strum. So that would be stage 2. Stage 3, see if you can put the strumming and the playing together. Now, if you need to initially do this, sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. Then go slow, even slower if you need to. The point is getting it correct. It's not speed. And the other point is don't stop whilst you're doing it. You must keep going. So if you're finding that there's a stop, then put a little ring fence that a little bit where you're finding the stop and just practice that section. So if you have to keep going, we all have pain. We all have pain. Just keep practicing that bit until you get it right. Now there's the whole of verse 1 in there. Then there's some more advanced challenges if you would like them. So another challenge I would like to give you is to plot in the same way as I've plotted the verse words. See if you can plot the chorus words or another verse or the whole song if you want to. So you can see exactly where they're being sung. And for that, you will need to listen to Bill Withers, get him up on YouTube or on your record or your CD or your Spotify, whatever you use, and listen. Where is he singing that syllable? Something else you can do is you can take your strumming patterns for beginners sheet and choose one of those rhythms that you would like to play with this song and plot that into your bar as well. One easy way of doing that could be to colour in the arrow when you're strumming and leave it white when you're not strumming. So if you're missing an up strum or a down strum, just leave it white. Then another challenge could be to play that rhythm and say the words or sing the song, and that basically takes you to your goal, which is to be able to strum and sing the whole song with a particular rhythm. So that's it for today. This is not a cure-all, and it's also not something you're going to have to do for every song, for every bar, and it's something that, you know, by now as a professional musician, and maybe for some of you even near the beginning of your journey, you might be doing it naturally, in which case fine. But if you're not and you're finding you're getting stuck with singing and playing together, this will help you to think about where those syllables are happening and the fact that you have to sometimes sing on an up strum and not just a down strum. So have a little go at it, see how you get on. I'd love to hear your comments and your feedback next week. Enjoy your ukuleles. It's week 6 of lockdown now, so I hope you're hanging in there, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.